Well, hello, big day on college football campuses all over the country. It's National Signing Day, and that means a big day here on Tiffin University football campus as well. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside head football coach Gary Goff, and yeah, big day, fun day for you guys too, I'm sure.
It is a fun day. I tell you, it's finally all the hard work of the families, the players, and the coaches finally all come together, and this is a day we look forward to for ever since the last game was over.
Well, we talk a little bit about the process of recruiting these kids. You know, it's a grind throughout the season, but recruiting still got to be in the back of your head a little bit. Talk a little bit about the process.
Yeah, you know, we're always recruiting, always evaluating talent, putting them on our board, ranking them, going through it. But, you know, the season's over. We're able to get out on the road and really start diving into, you know, meeting with the families, meeting with the recruits, you know, getting into their transcripts or whatnot, and then, you know, getting them on campus and seeing if it's a fit for both parties, because this has to be a fit for the families, the players, and the coaching staff. And it's really both sides doing a lot of interviewing and research, but you know, it's time well spent, and very excited about the players and their families are going to now join us here at Tiffin University and be a part of our larger family, and it's an exciting day for us. We're glad it's coming to an end. Recruiting is never over, but we finally get to breathe, and we got our top guys in, and we're excited to move forward with them.
Well, let's talk about these young men. We've got a list here of a bunch of Dragons, soon-to-be Dragons, as will be a part of the football program coming next year. So let's jump right into it, Coach. Let's start here with Connor Buchanan, a linebacker out of Avon Lake High School right here in Ohio, not too far away.
No, you know, Connor's got good size to him. You know, 6'1", 215. He's a young man that we're going to, you know, continue to develop. He'll probably put on another 15 pounds pretty easy and handle that. But, you know, he was Lorain County Honorable Mention. He had 77 tackles last year, two-time school award winner. So, you know, very dynamic player. We're excited to have him join us with that linebacker core.
Well, let's move to the offensive side of the ball for our next young man, Deshawn Brooks, wide receiver out of Lorain High School. Big kid, 6'4", good frame for a wide receiver.
Yeah, Deshawn reminded us a lot of Charles Holland. He's a very good basketball player. You know, he's got the size. He's 6'4", 185. Again, it's going to be very easy for this young man to put on another 10 or 15 pounds. But, you know, he's a dynamic player. He played defensive back as well, so it gives you an idea of how athletic he is. But, you know, he was very highly sought after by a lot of schools in our conference. So a big win for us right there for this young man. He's a first-team All-State, first-team All-County, first-team All-District, just about first-team All-Everything. He had almost 800 yards receiving with 10 touchdowns. So this young man's got a very bright future. He's going to catch a lot of footballs for us here.
All right, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line to be specific. Amon Ray Clay, a defensive lineman transfer from VMI.
Yeah, Amon came to us. He was a mid-year transfer, so he's been with us for 3 weeks now. But you can see he's got the size, 6 foot, 265. We're going to play him at one of the probably the 3 or 1 technique because he's very good with his hands. He's got a quick first step. But what a great young man! He's a 2-time MVP. Started at VMI for 2 years. Had 33 tackles his last season. He played there, and he's from Georgia. It's good to have another Georgia boy up here with
so
me.
You got a little bit of a Georgia connection yourself. We know that for certain. Your time at Valdosta State. All right, Charlie Cleveland, another defensive end who will be joining the Tiffin University Dragon football squad. Another kid with good size. This will be a recurring theme throughout this, folks. Kids with really nice size. 6'4", almost 250.
Yeah, Charlie, we're very excited about. He's coming to us from a prep school, so it's almost like he redshirted last year. Went to a prep school. He's with us right now. Been on campus with us for about 3 weeks now. But, he's from East Chicago Central High School. He was first-team All-State, first-team All-Area. But, he's a big young man. And again, he's going to add another 20 pounds very easily. But, 6'4", 245 as he is right now. He's a dynamic pass rusher off the edge. And, losing Willie Mays last year was a very good player for us. We felt that we need to go out and get some defensive ends that can come in and compete. And you'll see more to come, but we got some nice size at our defensive end spot.
We're looking to build some depth on the defensive line with this class?
Yeah, losing Willie Mays, we definitely want to bring in some more guys and build some depth right there at that defensive line. But on both sides of the football, we were able to really, the last couple of years, redshirt some freshmen, and we're very deep on both sides of the football as far as the offensive and defensive line. So we were very specific about our needs at defensive line, and we wanted some guys that are interior, and then we wanted some guys with some height and length on the defensive end.
Well, times are changing, huh? To be able to use the word depth. We couldn't use that a couple years ago.
Depth and very selective. We used to cast it out there and see what we can get. Now we're going out there and really looking for our program needs. And, we're going to have a lot of depth on both sides of the ball next year. And this is not a big signing class because we didn't lose that much. So we're excited about where we're at.
An offensive lineman to join the Dragons next year, Andrew Crooks out of Olentangy Liberty High School. Another kid with good size, 6'3" and 265, bringing in these big offensive linemen.
Andrew, again, had multiple offers in our conference, so it was a big get for us, but he reminded me a lot of Mason Butler. So Mason's going to be our senior center next year, who's played a lot of football around here, so we needed a young man who's got good size to him, but yet very, very smart to kind of step in and learn that center position. But he was a Final Four regional champ. He was undefeated regular season at 13-1, district champs, and he was second team all OCC. So Andrew is going to be a lot of fun to have around here. He's going to start a lot of football games for us.
A good young man to compare him to, and a great guy to learn behind, Mason Butler as well. So it'll be good for that young man as he grows into this position. Landon Hall, linebacker out of Wapakoneta High School, coming in to be a Dragon. Another kid, tall linebackers, tall defensive ends. This kid comes in at 6'2".
Landon reminds us a lot of Jacob Murtis.
That's a good thing.
It is a great thing. And Landon's 6'2", 215. He is a very, very good wrestler. He can easily put on another 15 or 20 pounds, but a lot of schools are after him as well. So we're very fortunate to get him. But his accolades go on and on and on. But just last season, he was first team All WBL. He was a first team All WBL linebacker and running back. He was a team captain. He was Defensive Player of the Year, first team All Northwest Ohio linebacker. It just goes on and on and on, but he's a very talented young man. He is going to be expected to step foot on campus and compete right off the bat. He's a smart young man, runs around, and he loves to hit people, so he's the perfect linebacker.
Yeah, you love to hit people. Linebacker's a good spot to play. Another linebacker joining the Dragons out of a football factory down in the city of Cincinnati Moeller High School. Demore Kelly coming in to play linebacker for the Dragons, and they're a kid with good size. Yeah,
Demore, again, 6'2", 220. He's going to be able to step on the field and compete right away as well. He had 50 tackles last year, 30 of them were solo. 10.5 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, a dynamic football player, and he looks the part. He is a big-looking linebacker. It looks like everybody else that we play against in the league.
That's awesome. Coming in with size, ready to play right now at 6'2", 220 at the linebacker spot as well. Noah Lenz, wide receiver from Perrysburg High School. A little bit smaller than some of the other wide receivers that you're recruiting, but I'm imagining that he makes that up with some speed.
Yeah, Perrysburg, they've always got some really good skill players, and Noah fits into that. He's going to be a slot receiver for us. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he is very, very shifty and catches the football very well. So, I think he'll develop into like a Wes Welker for us. He's going to fit perfectly what we need in this offense as far as the slot receiver is concerned, and we're excited about Noah. He's going to have a bright future with us.
Well, Perrysburg High School's been doing a lot of really good things here in the last few years, and he's been a part of it. So, Justin Lockett, a cornerback from Walnut Hills High School, 5'11", 180-pound cornerback. You're losing a couple guys for the cornerback position, so we've got to fill those needs.
Yeah, we're graduating Trey Scott, obviously, and Stephon Willis, both dynamic players, very long corners. We had a few guys we redshirted last year to step in, but we just felt like we needed more depth right there at the corner position. And, Justin fits that. He's 5'11", 180, so he's got really good size for a corner. He's a really long guy. He was first team All ECC. He was fourth in his conference with interceptions. And, his brighter days of football are still ahead. He's going to add another 20 pounds himself. And at 5'11", 200 pounds and playing corner, you're a handful for a lot of receivers. So, Justin is a really good player.
Staying on the defensive side of the ball, Alex Melfi, defensive end from Columbus, coming in, 6'3", 245-pound defensive end, another big defensive end for the Dragons.
Yeah, Alex has some burst to him. He's got great size. He was the Central District Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-Ohio, and one of the most important things is he was team captain. So a great young man. He was a lot of fun to recruit. His family was a lot of fun to be around. They're going to add a lot of value to us on and off the field, that's for sure. But, Alex, another guy that was highly sought after by multiple schools in our area, so a big get for us right there on the defense side of the ball.
Well, there's offense, there's defense, and there's special teams, and we're bringing a kicker in from Olentangy Orange High School named Joseph Metcalf. Tell us about Joseph.
If Joe was to walk through the door right now, you'd think he's a linebacker. He is put together. He's 6 foot, 175. He was first team All OCC. He was honorable mention All State. Reminded us a lot of Tomislav, and what I mean by that is I think he had 80-plus touchbacks. So we felt like we wanted to take a little bit of pressure off of Owen. Owen is a phenomenal punter and kicker. Did a great job for us last year, but we felt like with him kicking off, doing PATs and punting, it was a load for him. So, Joe's going to come in and be thrown right into the fire, and I'm very excited about him. Our defense was very excited about him because we'll have a lot of touchbacks moving forward.
Yeah, you got to like that. Make the team go a long field, not giving them great field position for certain. All right, a cornerback, moving back to the defensive side of the ball, Deshawn Morgan transferring in from Grand Valley. You guys had your sights on him a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah, Deshawn, we recruited 2 years ago. He's from Indiana. He threw for just under 7,000 yards in his career.
We're talking about a defensive back.
Right. Yeah, maybe some Wildcat in the future.
Sure.
He had 65 passing touchdowns in high school. He rushed for just under 2,000 yards with 22 rushing touchdowns. He was a first-team All-State defensive back. He was a first-team defensive back 4A. He was Indiana Prep 4th-ranked athlete in the state. So got a lot of accolades, but things just didn't work out where he was, and because we were recruiting him back then, he reached out to us. So he transferred to us at the middle of the year. So he's been on campus now for 3 or 4 weeks. Great young man, works extremely hard, and we're excited to get him out there on spring practice and see what he can do for us.
I guess even though he didn't commit to the Dragons initially, Tiffin was always on his mind, so happy to have him here in Tiffin now. Better late than never.
Well, if you're out there recruiting the right way, you never burn any bridges.
Right.
You recruit them hard, and that is the business side of recruiting. They might choose other schools for different reasons, but you can't really hold that against them, and you can't be ugly to them, because if you are, they're never coming back no matter
right.
what, and that's just the wrong way to deal with people. So, recruiting D. Morgan the right way paid off, and he's here now. That's all that matters.
Offensive lineman Joseph Ornstein coming to play for the Dragons. Another kid with big size. Out of the state of Ohio, a junior college kid, coming in at 6'4", 290-pounder.
Yeah, Joe's from Mercer College, originally down there from Florida, but, we needed somebody to kind of step in that had some experience for where Max, left off last year. He's graduating, but, at 6'4", 290, we're going to bulk him up this spring. Excited to get him on the field, have Coach Morokian work with him, but, Joe's a long, athletic young man, and we're excited about him, and he's just adding yet another piece of that offensive line who, keep in mind, we're getting Logan back, we're getting Azell back. Our 2 tackles last year were hurt after week 2, and we lost for the entire season. So we should be pretty deep at tackles. So let's stay that way.
Well, that's amazing last year. You talk about that, Coach. You're losing your 2 tackles and still be able to have a successful season as you did. Does speak volumes to the depth you're able to build, but it's always nice to continue with that depth.
Absolutely.
All right, up next, a linebacker from Anthony Wayne High School. Johnny Rupp is his name, and he's coming to play for the Dragons. Tell us about Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny's a good-looking young man. He's got size to him already as well. 6', 225. He was the team MVP, first team Northern Lake League, first team All Northwest Ohio. He was the defensive player of the year. This young man, he definitely looks the part. He's physically ready right now. It's just how fast is he going to learn the scheme, and we're excited about him. Smart young man, great family. So again, adding a lot of depth right there to the linebacker position, and with us losing Morgan Lloyd, he's graduating. We just felt like we wanted to spend some time and effort bulking up that linebacker, that defense side of the ball.
Morgan Lloyd's a tough guy to replace, and a guy who was on the field for you quite a bit, and just an incredibly smart young man as well.
Absolutely.
So. All right, the next young man we're going to mention is a wide receiver coming to town. Darryl Victor Talley II coming to us from a prep school. 6'3" wide receiver, another tall wide receiver. And this young man has some lineage to him, doesn't he?
He does. Victor is kind of a late bloomer. I think just 2 years ago, his dad was telling me he was only like 5'9" or 5'10". So he's sprouted up right now at 6'3". His dad played in the NFL for a little while. His uncle played for the Bills for a long time, Darryl Talley. So he is a little bit of I'd say a project, but he's kind of like a redshirt freshman coming in. He's got the size, he's got great hands. We're going to try to put some mass on him, which won't be very difficult. I guarantee you by the time camp gets here, he's going to be sitting there at 6'3", probably about 180, 185. And from what we've seen, he's been with us for about 3 or 4 weeks now. From what we've seen so far, very athletic young man. We're very excited about having him, and again, those receivers keep getting taller and taller every year, so that's good.
Yeah, and you see the defensive backs seem to get taller and taller as well to match up with them. Coleman Tennyson, a defensive tackle from Columbus South High School, coming in. Another kid with great size. Put almost 300-pounder right there in the middle of that defensive line. Can only help defensive ends and the linebackers we're talking about.
Absolutely. Coleman is probably one of the most talented defensive tackles coming out of high school that we've recruited in some time. He's got the size, he's got great hands, he's a great first step, but 75 tackles last year, 15 of them were tackles for loss. That's a lot for an interior defensive lineman. but he was first team all-conference, first team all-area, and first team all-state. So, Coleman will be a force to be reckoned with from day one, and he'll be somebody you guys will be, calling his name out quite a bit.
Oh, looking forward to that for certain. All right, another young man from Cincinnati Moeller High School. We already mentioned one. Now we're going to mention a second, Christian Watkins. We have a linebacker. Now we got one behind him in a strong safety spot.
Christian, strong safety. He also played a little bit of running back there for Moeller. So, we kind of like those skilled players that have played multiple positions. Also can help return punts or return kicks or whatnot. But, Christian, 5'11", 200. The thing that stood out on his film, he flies around and he lays the wood. When he hits people, they fly backwards. And, we've been very fortunate in the past with, Brandon Person, DJ Edwards, who has one more year for us. We've had some very physical safeties, and Christian's going to fit right into that mold. And again, a young man's going to be expected to play early and play a lot of special teams.
Well, the wide receivers on the other side of the ball don't like those physical safeties too well.
No, nobody does when they're hitting that hard unless they're on your team, right?
That's right, absolutely. This next young man, Coach, I'm looking through these numbers. I'm assuming it's a typo, but I'm probably wrong. Darryl Williams, wide receiver from Mount Healthy High School, 6-footer, 165-pounder. Are these numbers for real?
They are. Darryl might be one of the fastest people we've recruited in a long time, and that's what stood out in his film. He could flat out fly. And actually, when we went and saw him, he got on campus. I mean, he's a lot bigger than we expected. He's sitting there at 6 foot 165. Obviously, needs to add a little bit of size to him, but he is fast. He'll be the fastest person maybe on campus when he steps foot on campus. And that's saying a lot because our track team just won the national championship.
But just under 50 yards a kick return, just under 24 yards a punt return. Those numbers are unheard of.
They are nuts. I mean, he's first team all conference. He was all district honorable mention. He's got a school record averaging 23.5 yards per punt return and a school record averaging 49.3 yards per kick return. And he was a special team, first team all-state. So he can fly, so don't give him a crease because he's going to be gone. So he'll probably play slot receiver for us and then he'll be a return specialist, obviously.
Well, you got a young man who's going to bring it out to the 50, and you got a kicker who's not going to let him get it out past the 25. So I like the way the special teams are working out with this class, Coach.
Well, me too, but we better score a lot on offense. So.
That's where it all happens. Jacob Williams, a cornerback from Copley High School, coming to Dragon. Another defensive back with good size, coming in at 6'2".
Yeah, Jacob reminds me a lot of Stephon Willis. He's 6'2", 180. And he's got a very high ceiling, meaning that he's going to learn our defense. He's got a very bright future here. He's kind of a late bloomer himself, and only starting there for his last 2 years. But a lot of pleasure to be around. His family was a lot of fun. He's going to get probably another 15 or 20 pounds before, I bet you before his sophomore year. So a corner that's sitting there at 6'2", 200 and can flip his hips and run is very special, especially at this level. So we're excited about Jacob. He's going to have a bright future here.
Another defensive lineman, another defensive end, as a matter of fact, Ryan Wolford, coming to us from Brother Rice High School in Michigan, 6'5", 250 pounds. Now, is that the high school that puts out all kinds of athletes?
It is. And this was a big-time get for us. Ryan had 5 offers from our conference, but at 6'5", 250, he's a defensive end that can step foot on the field right now. He's just got to learn the scheme. But, he's a dominant pass rusher. He had 32 tackles, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for losses last year. He has got an unbelievable story. So as everybody gets to know Ryan more and more, you'll realize this is a special young man. Not only is he a great football player, he's a great person. And again, his family were a lot of fun to recruit. They're a big part of the process. He called, just about 2.5 weeks ago, and he said, "Coach, Tiffin feels like home. I love being there, love you guys, and I can't wait to help you get into the playoffs and win a lot of football games." So we're excited about this young man. And, that size coming out of high school and one of the best programs in Michigan at 6'5", 250, that's a big-time get for us.
And those are the kind of phone calls you like to get.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, the most local kid on the incoming class, Gavin Woods, wide receiver from Cary High School, just south of Tiffin. Another big kid coming in, a 6'3" wide receiver for you kids.
Yeah, Gavin, we see us playing our wide position, that slot position, kind of that flex tight end. But he's a first-team receiver and DB. He was second-team DB, all Northwest Ohio. So, another guy that we're going to bulk up a little bit, get him to about 200 pounds, 210 pounds, and he'll be a mismatch for some of those safeties and outside linebackers. But he's a very good receiver, and he's going to catch a lot of footballs for us, and kind of a bigger version of Pedro. We had a couple years ago.
That's a great comparison as well. And one more kid on this list. These aren't the only kids who'll be Dragons. These are the ones that we have on this list right here. We have some other walk-ons that'll be coming in later as well. But Matt Zolkin, offensive lineman from Olentangy Orange High School. Big kid as well, 6'6", 280 pounds.
Yeah, excited about Matt, and he's another one that, we're going to get in here and more than likely redshirt and develop, but, you can't coach that size. 6'6", 280 right now. His body, as you guys have all seen, will transform and change over the next couple of years, and he'll be a really, really good football player. He's got a lot of talent right now, and just got to get him in there and get him strong. And that's one thing that we've done a good job at the last couple of years, is basically redshirting all of our defensive linemen and offensive linemen, and then now they're able to become, fifth-year seniors at some point. And that's what most schools in our conference do, and that way they're as big and as strong as you possibly can get them.
Well, Coach, the recruiting cap come today with the National Signing Day. I know you don't have a whole lot of time to reflect because you got spring football right around the corner and get ready to get these new kids in here. But go and reflect on your recruiting class and just kind of give us a summary of the process.
Yeah, we really didn't lose that much. I mean, I know a lot of people think, well, they lost their quarterback and this, that, and the other. But, we already had, 3 guys on our team that we were redshirting last year that are going to step right in and fill those needs, and very talented young men. So, we were very selective about this recruiting class because we really didn't lose that much. And with all the injuries we went through, we're getting, 4 or 5 medical redshirts back.
Wow.
So we're going to have depth in a lot of different positions, but we felt like on the defense side of the ball, we had to address our concerns at corner because we're graduating 2 seniors. We're graduating a really good linebacker, so we felt like we had to get a few more linebackers. And then losing Willie Mays at defensive end and a few other guys, we just felt like, let's go out and try to find a couple of best interior D-line we can find, and then let's find us some dominant pass rushers that have the length and size to them. So, and that's where you see the Ryan Wolford come in, the Alex Melfi come in. But, if you think back 2 years ago, we signed Willie Mays from a junior college, San Mateo. He was 6'5", but 212 pounds when he got here.
Right.
So it took us 2 full years to put that 30, 35 pounds on him. And you saw his senior year that paid off, and he's a very good player for us. Well, these guys that we just signed, they're going to be a force to reckon with a lot sooner than that because they already come in with that size. So offensively, of course, you always want a few more offensive linemen. So we got some guys right there that we feel like we're going to develop and be very good players. A couple receivers because we're going to be very deep at receiver next year. But then you're losing the Charles Hollands. That class is graduating, so we need some guys who are going to step in and fill those shoes. And the nice thing about where we're at right now in our program is we're not out there just taking every and anybody we possibly can get. We're being very selective, and we're filling specific needs on both sides of the ball.
You look through all these young men's accolades, and they're all very impressive. But one of the things that I noticed that you touched on quite a bit are the kids who are, team captains. And, you talk about the kids and their families a lot. And that all goes back to the character type kids you're looking to bring in here.
Well, like I said earlier, it's just got to be a right fit for both parties, for the families, the players, and for us coaches, and for Tiffin University. I mean, last thing you want to do is somebody gets here and they're unhappy, or it's just you're taking a kid that's just not going to fit into your program. So, very important to us to do it the right way, do our background checks, our research, and when they come here, we encourage them to do the same thing. That way, when they sign, they're excited about coming here, helping us win a lot of football games, and really at the end of the day, we want the same thing they do, and that's for them to be successful on and off the field, have a great experience playing for us and going to Tiffin University, and then when they graduate, they're a better young man for it. So it's a win-win situation, and the character part is really big on our needs.
Spring right around the corner. Spring practice will be starting soon. Spring game will be starting soon. Before you know it, we'll be back out here talking about the first game, get a preview going.
No question. We still got about 5 or 6 more faxes we're waiting on, but this afternoon we're jumping right back into the weight room with our players, and it's locking ourselves in the weight room with them and doing some skill instruction, and then we'll have spring practice here before you know it, and then we'll blink our eye and it'll be report day all over again.
Every one of you young men we mentioned today cannot wait to see you on campus, get a chance to introduce ourselves to you, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck, not only on the football field, but in your academics as well here at Tiffin University. Coach Goff, thank you so much for your time. Give your coaches the best, our best, because it's a lot of work to get these young men here, and it's a lot of work to keep them here as well. So thank you for everything you did, and I'm looking forward to seeing these young men on campus.
Hey, thank you for y'all's help, and go Dragons. We'll see you soon.
More information on Tiffin University football, go to gotiffindragons.com, and you can also find out more information on what we do covering Tiffin University football by going to tudragonradio.com. This has been a look at your 2017 class of Tiffin University incoming football freshmen.